Hey there. Good morning, Ben. Hope all is well. Welcome into the show before the show. Good morning, Ben and Cindy and Michelle and Stephanie. Thanks for jumping in. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Appreciate you, everybody here today. Get going about 9 o'clock. You know what we do. Good morning, Roland and Joe. Hey guys, welcome into the show. Good morning. Can't wait to get rocking and rolling here. What the hell is happening to my phone? Happy May 29th. Let's see here. Okay, good. Eric will be joining us this morning. Make that work. Yeah, several issues in Seattle again, Mike. You're not kidding. I watched video of a mom and her little baby. She's just trying to walk to a Christian get-together. These evil people. I mean, when you're so far gone that literally, as we're told scripturally, God has given you over to yourself, over to your evil desires. I mean, literally screaming, cussing at a mom and her little baby because they want to go do something for the Lord. That's what the Democratic Party has become. Not saying that every Democrat supports that. I'm just saying where all the Democrats on their high horses against the behavior of Antifa and pro-Palestinians and the LGBT community, unfortunately, they're out there. Not all of them, but they are out there. And their national organizations are not, I repeat, not condemning the actions of the people in Seattle. Just very sad. Yeah, I saw it. It's that mob mentality. And as I talk about, if you've ever been the victim of mob mentality, it is something you never forget. Yeah, and the police can't do anything. Ridiculous. They're told to stand down. Police out there we're going to negotiate with radical left lunatic liberals. I mean, it's sad. And this isn't us just coming, hey, we're going to rip liberals today. No, it's their own actions. Greg says, can you believe it's been 6 months already? 2025, the year of redemption. The year of rebirth, the year of cleansing, the glory age of America, back again. So good. Everything is better. Everything is better. Appreciate you guys being here. Where is... There we go. Still getting some of the things for the show done here, guys. Appreciate you being here. Can you believe it's been 6 months? Old David Hogg been getting his new orders. Says Crotch Rocket Crockett is the new face of the Democrats. I know. I saw that too. She's terrible. And then what she's doing is just going out. She's doing that old Marxism trick because she's learned from them. She's getting paid by Marxist communists of accuse others what you really are, telling Donald Trump that he's crazy and he's not fit to run for office and he's an insane and say things that are so bizarre and wild. Just keep throwing them up there over and over and over again. And the media gives you a mic. Normally, the media would not give you a mic. But you all know what the media is about. We'll have some Dan Bongino stuff today. I'll tell you what, the man gave up a lot for this country, and he's going through a tough time, too. Even talked about being separated now on Fox and Friends this morning and no life. I just appreciate people who are willing to serve. Glad you guys are with us. Good morning, Jeannie and Roland and Greg. Everyone else coming into the show. Thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing the show. We'll get going here in just a couple minutes. Happy Thursday, May 29th. Tony says, Bongino is amazing. I have to agree. Absolutely, I have to agree. Hey guys, hi Addie and Connie and Jamie, Tanya, people rocking and rolling in. We're getting ready to get started here in just a second. Projo will pop us up when it's time to start the show, and we'll get going with everything that's happening. Man, is there so much going on. It doesn't stop. Help keep us on track today, guys. We appreciate it. Help keep us on track. And I totally trust him. Dan Bongino, Connie. So do I. I absolutely do as well. Thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing the show as we get ready to start. We're grateful. Projo, let's get it going, buddy. And welcome into Cancel This, canceltheshow.com. Vic Faust here. Eric Johnson will be here momentarily. He's fixing that beautiful coif, that hair of his, or getting his guitar ready, whatever it may be, but he'll be coming into studio. Projo, taking care of business behind the scenes from a production standpoint. We're glad you're with us on this Thursday, May 29th. 9:01, we'll be here till just after 10. You know what we do here on canceltheshow.com? We get you up to date on the water cooler talk, everything that's happening from a news standpoint, the news headlines, the politics in America, what's happening with Donald Trump and 2025 and why it matters to you in your life and why you should care. People, thank you for jumping on the podcast platform. Second to none with your support on Facebook, on X, on YouTube, and Rumble. Thank you guys for being there. Thank you for any support that you can give us to keep this free speech platform going from a financial standpoint and from a sharing standpoint. Grateful that you guys are here. We are ready to do that. Greg, right out of the gate today, something not so newsy. Did you hear MLB said that the owners are joining forces to create a women's professional softball league? 4 teams so far. There you go. Not too shabby. Mike says, going to need 2 hours today. Face purple crying. Yeah, I guess that's what's happening. Coming up on the show, I was just talking about it. Kash Patel, Dan Bongino coming out and talking about, literal craziness. Kash says he is going to give a definitive answer on top of the January 6th question. It's coming, and that people are going to be shocked, literally shocked and surprised at FBI's involvement, the FBI agents involved. We'll get into that coming up on the show as well. That was pretty damn surprising to me. Surprising only in the sense that Kash is talking about the FBI is saying that the findings may surprise and shock Americans during a special report exclusive. We've already been told eventually, and soon we're going to get the Epstein files. Everybody has a different reason for maybe wanting that. Huge cojones from the American government and Marco Rubio, who's having a phenomenal start to his career as Secretary of State. The United States revoking, this is very interesting, revoking visas for Chinese students. Now, will it be all students, or will it be the ones that are in challenging careers to the United States, engineering, intelligence, things of that nature? I have no problem with the United States doing this, as long as these students are vetted and they have the proper sources to do so. We're told that's going to happen as well. We'll get into that. Also, Elon Musk. What a phenomenal job Elon Musk has done, and he's going to be leaving. So we'll get into that as well coming up on the show. So much more to get to. We've got situations. We talked about Dan Bongino, what we're going to get into. The Grizzlies, reality stars, pardoned by Trump. Some people care, some people don't. The Israeli hostage who was recently brought back to the United States talks about how his life got better when Donald Trump was elected president because Hamas fears Trump. Let me repeat that. Hamas fears Trump. And don't forget for a second that while the cat was away, Donald Trump, the mice were playing all around the country, all around the world, because they knew that Biden was weak and was not in charge of what was happening from those standpoints. The Doge cuts are going to be sent to the House. Grateful for that. We're going to get into that as well. And also more, whatever you guys want to bring up from that standpoint. So much going on. I want to dive in with Elon. And the reason I want to dive in with Elon is how massive this was. I would ask you to give him a grade, but who cannot give him an A? Is there a reason not to give him an A? Is there a reason not to give him a 10 out of 10? I would argue. Now, the Trump immigration policy, he started to do that in his last term, and it is phenomenal what he has done. By the way, did you know that a border crossing checkpoint in San Diego closed this week very quietly without any media coverage? Guess why? Guess why? Nobody's coming. They know. They already know what's happening in America now. That's how easy and quick Donald Trump took care of everything. That's huge. What has happened for this country? I called it the biggest problem in America. But now think about what Elon has done. And we don't have to say, oh, this is better than that. But I'm just curious. Because this originated out of nowhere. We always know it's more difficult to create something, in my humble opinion, than it is to take something and make it better. And this was all created out of nothing by Elon. What, $450, $500 million or $1 billion of savings for this country? I think right now it will go down as one of the most historic, positive influences that this country has ever had. Tell me I'm wrong and tell me why, or tell me why you agree with me and why. Joe says, not surprised at all. We all knew they were involved big time, talking about the FBI. We're going to get into that coming up on the show too. Rick says, what was shocking was when Kash and Dan said Epstein killed himself. Yeah, I know. I heard it too. We'll talk about that. Greg says, personally, I don't agree with the pardons. Do the crime, do the time. I agree, Jack. I agree. Now, their daughter's saying that the only here's why. I'm not saying that the Grizzlies didn't commit any crimes. But the way that they went after the Grizzlies was wrong. And the daughter will explain that. Does that mean that that shouldn't be allowed? That's one of those legal things. You know, somebody, quote, may be guilty, but how they got the evidence is wrong and not legal. So should it count? And how would you feel if that was you? So that's the other standpoint. But when it comes to Elon, he says he's going to still be involved. He says that Doge is still going to continue on, and I certainly hope so. Because as Elon has stepped away, what we have seen is America take on this independence when it comes to our finances, greed, fraud, everything that we saw, you know, for the most part, going away a little bit. And it's exactly what we needed. This country needed some positive influence. He provided it for us. His team has now laid out a groundwork that I hope never, ever, ever leaves, and that we continue to stay exactly on point as we have. Jenny says, like January Sixers, for example. I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about with that, but it's just phenomenal to think what Elon's done. Where does it rank? Will we actually understand everything, the money, all those situations that have happened? Hello, Eric Johnson. I'm glad that you came into the show and you made it. Welcome. As you take a seat, and Projo, if you're still around, please pop up Eric and his camera. That would be great.
Do that thing you do.
Do the thing you do. As you come in, talking about Elon and the legacy that he leaves behind.
Yes.
As he is now not, quote, an official employee of the government anymore. Not an official employee.
And he can't stand what's going on.
What do you mean?
He's very upset that the big, beautiful bill is not so big. He wants it bigger. It's like, it's not so beautiful. It's just a medium.
Who, Elon? I didn't hear that.
Oh, yes.
What happened?
Okay, here's the deal.
Please.
So they did an interview the other day, and they were like, look, Elon is just not happy with the fact that the bill did not go full encompassing over fixing the debt. If this bill goes through, we're going to add $5 trillion more dollars to the debt.
We are.
Well, if you're a fiscal conservative, you ain't digging that.
That's why some of the Republicans are saying they don't support it right now.
Well,
they said we're spending too much money.
Fair enough. But so if you went to Washington, D.C., you know, Elon goes to Washington kind of thing, which is what sounds like a movie. Elon goes to Washington, and you basically had your brand destroyed. You had liberals hating you for what, 200 days or something like that, whatever it was. He's pissed. I did all of this for you to basically put another $5 trillion on the debt. So he's not happy about it at all.
But that debt that's in there right now,
it's not good.
It's not good, but they did. Don't you think they did this on purpose, Republicans in the House, so that the Senate could then go and cut it? Because the Senate says they're going to cut it apart. The other thing I was curious, and with Elon wanting to cut, he's learning politics, how rhinos do it in DC.
But you know what? Politics is going to kill the country. Because he's absolutely right. Here's the deal. The country was formed by a bunch of farmers in the middle of the Northeast, basically. And they put together a little government and they said, here's what we're going to do. You have the right to pursue happiness. You don't have the right. No, you're not guaranteed happiness, but you have the right to pursue happiness. And we're going to collect taxes from you so that we can build a navy and we can build an army. And maybe one day we can put roads in here somehow. And the schoolhouses, we can give the teacher a few penance. But you did not have a guarantee. All of a sudden, the 40s came along and the crappy New Deal came out. And that ensured everybody a safety social net. It ensured government was going to be centralized. All that money was going to be filtered into people who needed it. It was the Roosevelt era. Well, that became something where it's like people were like, I can game the system a little bit. Well, from the 40s to where we are now, we have a debt of $36 trillion, which is incomprehensible when you start to go, it would take you 42 billion years if you spent $100 a day to pay it. I mean, it's just crazy numbers. Well, so Elon goes to the thing. He goes, You got to break this crap down. The entire thing is going to put us into bankruptcy if you don't fix it now. So that's why I'm here. So he leaves going, I give up. It's not going to happen.
Well, okay, I understand your point, but here's the other part about Elon. His time in this position was already set when it would end, when he started.
Kind of.
He may not be thrilled with what's happening, as many of us may not be, but he's not leaving because of that. His time was already
Let's put
set.
it this way, Vic.
And we've already uncovered.
Think of it this way.
And shown Americans what fraud is and what was going on.
Think of it this way. Think of it when you go to, you're like, I'm going to go buy a house. And I'm going to renovate it. And it's going to be a crappy house. This house is going to be, at once it was probably nice, but now the house is disgusting. And every room in it, and the roof and the HVAC, the equivalent would be the person who was going to renovate the house spent 100 days in one corner with some Windex trying to just make one corner of this crappy, dilapidated house good enough to sell. He doesn't even have close to the power to take care of the debt for this thing. And
he doesn't.
So you got to think of it that way. It's like,
I do.
What he did.
Do you trust Trump with this big, beautiful bill?
No.
But you don't. But do you trust him on other things?
No, because you have to literally tell human beings that live in this country, because of your need to have health care, because of your need to have a pension, because of your need to have all of these entitlements, you're going to bankrupt the country for your kids and your grandkids. And they have to go, well, we're going to be the grandest generation ever. And we're going to give up all of our benefits so that we can save this country for future generations. But they're not going to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But
if it would be like,
but I'm not telling, but I'm not going to say everything is lost. I think what Elon did was phenomenal.
It's lost.
And on top of it, and I don't blame you for saying it, but here's why. Look at all of the fraud, waste, corruption that has been exposed now. It was all exposed. The spending from that standpoint, we don't know what the final bill is going to look like yet.
Yeah, but
let's see where it is. Let's see why they're doing what they're doing. Why is the spending there?
So the corruption, again, you have to go back to the scale of the corruption. Let's say that the big money is like you're a company and you go building cars. The corruption on that level is like, oh my God, Cynthia is in the other room. She's buying too much toilet paper.
Dude, look at those guns. By the way, you're showing off your guns today.
I don't know.
I like it. You've really got serious about your health and you look good.
Well, you have to. That's a great point. That's a great point.
Not to interrupt you, but damn, I see you showing those guns today.
It's a perfect segue.
Okay, good.
At some point,
I'm glad.
if you're fat and overweight and you're disgusting and you need to get back in shape, you can think about it all day long, but at one point you have to do it. That's the same with the government.
So the trainer is Elon.
No,
your friends who are saying, "Hey,
I would say the
drink this, eat this."
I would say that
is Congress.
Elon Musk is kind of like the guy that started P90X. You watch the videos, you sold on it, but it's up to the government to get off their asses and understand what a perplexing situation that they have put us in since the 40s.
Robert says Elon found just a tiny part of the corruption. Exactly. But it's not going anywhere.
It's built into the cake. Like it's like trying to find particles of flour after the cake has already come out of the oven. It's already there. It's in the DNA of the government. They've scammed us.
Elon says, quote, "As my scheduled time as a special government employee comes to an end, I would like to thank President Donald Trump for the opportunity to reduce wasteful spending," which is what he did. And of course, all of us want more. "The Doge mission will only strengthen over time as it becomes a way of life."
I think that
throughout the government. That is my point.
The good news,
and I agree with what Elon says.
The good news in all of this, the cabinet guys, is they're like little microbots that are kind of trying to filter through everything. Kash Patel, Rubio, all of them are out there like going, we're kind of overwhelmed with how bad it is. We'll get back to you. So the good news is every day and every night that you're sleeping, there are people now looking for stuff. Coming off of the the corruption from the Bidens, which wasn't corruption. He had dementia. He was cognitively impaired. He had Gen Z running the country with auto pens, like shutting down pipelines and going and letting the borders be open, and Kamala not allowed to come to meetings. That's where the corruption is. That's where the corruption is.
Auto pen.
Yeah, the corruption is going to be.
By the way, they say the guy that was chief of staff for Jill Biden is the guy who had most of the power with the auto pen. I saw that report come out yesterday.
Well, there are people under subpoena right now, and I think that Joe Biden is a toxic commodity. And if you have people say, I'm not going to tell you any of this information, that's really stupid, because people on the left and the right now, you could be a hero to both sides. Right. You could be a hero to both sides.
Who could be?
The people who knew what happened say, look, jig is up. This is what happened.
Not going to happen.
Oh, yes, it will. The people who know are going to be under investigation by the committees in the Congress. They're going to be under investigation by the FBI. They're going to be under investigation by the CIA. This stuff will come out. Who the hell left the cocaine in the damn thing?
Well, but you know what? Bongino says they're going to get into it too. Then the Democrats say, who cares about cocaine? I even know a Republican. Who cares? Who cares? Republican in the White House, cocaine in the White House. Who cares? I think it's a big deal. I'll tell you, I don't care if you're doing coke or not.
Yeah,
it is a big deal. There's a lot.
It gets you fired from any Fortune 500 company.
Exactly, and it's our White House.
Yeah,
my God, the people that are quote running our country. From the chat line, Robert says, unless Congress does something, Doge means nothing.
Agreed.
Cash and Bondi, still no arrests or indictments.
Yeah,
and they keep promising us. You're right, Robert. We call out everybody. Greg says the biggest thing they need to fix is mismanagement of our money. Example, we pay taxes, but yet my city lets the streets go to shit while hanging up flower baskets instead to beautify the streets.
He must be living in St. Louis.
Well,
have you ever been to St. Louis?
Yeah, I was in
You need to have a 4-wheel truck to go to St.
I was
Louis.
in St. Louis last week, and it's sad. I was looking at all kinds of things when it came to the I work with a roofing company that's an advertiser of the show too, and seeing all of what was there. Yeah, it's terrible. And it was terrible.
Are they good?
But I thought about you.
Can I ask you a question?
Remember when you said North St. Louis?
Yes.
In
the Moab bomb? Yes.
And then you just start over?
Can I ask you a question?
You kind of got your wish in a lot of those areas.
Can I ask a question? So these houses were built over 100 years ago. Most of them. These brick buildings down there. What do? Do you go and try to fix up a dilapidated brick building that has dilapidated mason work, that has no roof anymore? What do you do downtown St. Louis? This is such a legitimate question.
I know. I didn't want to get you on St. Louis. Here we go.
No, because St. Louis, I always thought
Robert says it's the same in Detroit.
Yeah, it's the same in Detroit. But do you go down there and say, we're going to help you fix your $50,000 home with a $200,000 offering?
Yeah, there's got to be there's so much money.
What do you do?
There isn't. You've got to.
You got to move them out of their house?
Yeah, that's what sucks.
So now there's no worth to
the only thing that can happen there.
Yeah,
are these places like cleaned up
and
like bulldozed?
Yeah,
but then people's lives, their culture. Some of these homes were in families' histories for decades.
Right.
I know. I don't have the answers.
Can we find out the answers to this? Because
here's the answer, Eric. You need money.
Well, what does Kara Spencer say about all this?
This is
poor Kara.
Day
3, she
Eric
comes
talking
in
about the mayor of St. Louis. Yeah, there's nothing she can do. It's out of her hands.
It's out of her hands. Damn.
Yeah, it is. I'm just grateful that Elon did what he did. I wish he was sticking around more. What he did was set a standard.
Yeah.
Whether it stays, to be seen. Am I excited about the big, beautiful bill, like you said, with the spending? No, I'm not. It's not a Republican conservative manner, but is it for a reason?
Right.
Is it, as your football coach used to tell the offensive line, Eric, sometimes you got to give a little to get a little.
Yeah.
When you're blocking, a lot of the zone blocking schemes in football, for my football people out there, you take a step backwards to put yourself in a better position to move forward. Is the spending for that? I trust Donald Trump. I'm all in on that. Am I happy with everything that he's done? No. Am I happy that he's pardoning the Grizzlies? I don't know. Do you know who they are?
Because they were, again, he's trying to take, he's like, if you take political warfare against me, I'm coming back at you. They're pardoned. Get out of here. Yeah, I know you didn't pay your taxes, but if the Biden administration came against you, you're gone. Bye-bye.
From the chat line, Jeannie says, Eric must have had a Starbucks today.
Ugh.
He's been yapping it up since he sat down.
I'm pissed.
It's because we like to hear Eric. That's why we want him in.
I'm mad.
Did you guys perform last weekend?
No.
You had the whole weekend off?
Yes.
So the last time you performed is when I saw you?
When did you saw us? Oh, you were out at Frankie Martin's.
I showed up late.
All I saw was Vic Fow's face. I look over and boom, Vic was right up to the side of the stage.
That was, you know who made me go up there?
Who?
Megan. She's like,
she was having a good time.
She's like, I got to get next to that stage.
You talk about someone who has Starbucks in her veins. She has Starbucks in her veins.
That wasn't when she was twerking, was it?
I did not see the twerking.
Okay.
No, I only saw the face. I didn't see the ass.
You got to make sure. It's like joining your fan club out there.
Yeah.
By the way, are you playing anywhere this weekend?
Helen Fitzgerald's.
Saturday, Friday?
Yes.
Saturday night? Ellen Fitzgerald's. Platinum Rock Legends.
Yes.
Check out their website as well. You can see all about Eric and his big fans. What about Dan Bongino and Kash Patel? Kash Patel comes out, Eric. Yeah. Did you see the report? First of all, Bongino did Fox and Friends this morning, and he looked like a guy. He's talking about being separated from his wife now.
Yeah.
He's like, I work 14-hour days. I look at 4 walls and he's like, I'll have my time to go after people again.
Yeah.
I gave up great stuff. He's like, this job sucks. You need people who are totally selfless to go in and try to redo the FBI.
Yeah.
Holy crap. And Kash Patel talking about the FBI now being involved.
Well, have you ever
January 6th?
That's such a good point.
Huge.
Have you ever been to the state capitol of Illinois?
I have. It's boring.
Have you been there?
I've been there.
Okay. When you walk into the state capitol in Illinois, it feels like you're in a Russian.
I went to a field trip.
Right. It looks like it's like the most sterile social, what you would think would be in Russia, socialist, small windows, just not an inviting place to be. Right. But when you go to a company or like a Best Buy, they are inviting. It's capitalism versus socialism. I have always thought Illinois wants to be Russia, mother Russia, so bad. A socialist state, socialist politics, I could totally see how a guy as colorful as Bongino would go to the United States government, go into one of the government buildings and go, I feel itchy. I feel like I'm having a rash because when you go into public service, it's not glamorous. And to find the things that he needs to find is going to be hard as hell. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. All of these government servants that we know, Bongino, Kash Patel, all of them, they're like little robots. They have to go find everything that has gone wrong with the government. I mean, I would love to see, here's what I would love to see, Vic. The bill, whatever. Don't raise our taxes, great, whatever. What I would like to see happen at the end of Trump's administration is that they get as close.
The end in 3.5 years?
In 3.5 years. Is I would think that they would get as close, the government. Yeah, you might be spending all this money still, but we need to make the government more like an Apple store than the Kremlin. We need to make the government feel inviting. Welcome to the United States government. How can I help you? Oh, well, thank you for inviting me in.
They're on a path.
Hold on. It's a nice, beautiful. Picture this. It's a nice, beautiful building. It's all got all this glass. It might look like Amazon up in Seattle. You walk in and goes, "Hi, how are you doing? Would you like a coffee?" Absolutely, fantastic. Here's a coffee. How can I help you today? Can you point me in the direction of the IRS? Absolutely. Go right over here. You make a left. You go down the beautiful hall. You go to the IRS. They're saying, "How are you doing? We have so many agents here that are here to help you. As a matter of fact, we're completely automated. Would you like to pay your bill?" Yeah, well, yes, I would. Fantastic. You start to craft this beautiful government that is like an Apple store. You go to usgov.org or
does it have a short line? The last time I was there, I had to wait 45 minutes.
Okay, check it out. Vic, listen to me. So listen to me.
Do I have a kiosk?
Yeah, so check it out. Listen. So you go, you're at your kitchen table. Check it out. Here's your scenario. Your kitchen table, you go to your wife, you go, "Oh man, I gotta get my license renewed." "Oh, you do? Oh, just go to usgov.gov or whatever." "Oh, look at that. Pay your whatever." And it's beautiful. It says, "Pay your fine or your fee to get your new tabs." Boom. Oh, that was easy. Your tabs will be in the mail in 2 days. Oh, crap. You didn't go to the DMV. Your tabs are automatically delivered to your house. It's like Apple. Have you ever been to the Apple store? It's beautiful, Vic.
I just told you. I was there a couple weeks ago and I waited 45 minutes to get help.
I digress. Not even the Apple store, apple.com, where you just go online and you go, oh, this is beautiful. I need an iMac. Click. It's delivered right to your house.
Okay, where are we going with this?
I'm telling you, that's if we can get the government that efficient with that kind of a system, with those databases, we could save a ton of money.
We could. Congress isn't going to allow it to happen.
We could save so much money.
Roland says
we could get rid of all the buildings. We could get rid of all of the.
So maybe
we could get rid of all the idiots that are in a cubicle.
So is
doing
nothing. Is back to the game that's set in place.
I'm just saying,
going to be changed.
If I was a business owner,
the needle a little sometimes when conservative policies are being played, but the needle goes back down when they're not. The needle goes back up, and then it goes back down.
You could vote for a president. I tell you what, you know what the president should be? The president should be the board of directors. I'm trying to explain my view on this. The president of the United States should be the board of directors, the chairman of the board, right? The chairman of the board.
I agree.
But you could hire the chairman of the board could hire a CEO of the country who makes like a Tim Cook. Tim, it's your job to go out there and make this country as efficient as possible. Okay, Mr. President. I'm sorry, Mr. CEO of the board. I mean, chairman of the board. And then that CEO answers to the board of directors, which is really us. That's the problem here, is we need to have someone who is smart enough to know how to run a country, and we don't have that. We have no intelligence. We have built
what? Yeah, we do.
We have built a bureaucracy that's so massive that you can't ask anyone how to fix it.
No, I know. It's not going to change.
Hey, why don't we make the IRS so where you go to the IRS and you need
trying to change the IRS. Eric, you're talking about.
Do you understand? I'm just picking on the IRS because it's just one thing.
This is the first president that we've had that has tried and talked about what you're talking about, Eric. You know that. This is the first time that we've had a president that's attacking, and things that have been in place for generations. It takes time to change.
Well, we don't have time.
I know.
We don't have time.
You talk about great things from a standpoint. I try to think, how are we going to make this happen?
I'm trying to figure out why the people of this country. You
have great ideas. No, and I'm trying to see how do we connect A to B and B to C?
Here's another one for you. Back in the 40s, we had a massive need. We were in jeopardy of not being a free country anymore. Germany on one side, Japan on the other side. Our people, the people of this country, women, children, men, whatever, they all sacrificed to go build the biggest military force the world has ever seen. Mm-hmm. The greatest generation, as Tom Brokaw called them. And why was that? Because this country was in jeopardy of failing. Okay, stop. Now, fast forward to where we're at now. You're in the same boat. Your country is in jeopardy of failing, and it's because of money.
Yeah.
Okay.
And corruption.
Right. And corruption.
And which brought us into this, what's happening with the FBI, which is what Kash Patel is talking about right now.
Yes.
There's so many sectors, Eric, that have to be changed before we could ever have that perfect.
Well, here I'm in a micro sector. There's this thing about the tariffs. It's true. China is making a lot of money, enough money to make one of the biggest navies in the world because of the United States. And it's all because of AliExpress. It's all because of Wish.com. It's all because they sell crap to us. Okay. Why can't the new greatest generation say, okay, China, we recognize what's going on here. We are going to develop our own damn products. Our own Barbie dolls are going to go out this Christmas.
We've started the process.
Our own plates that are cheap for our people to own. We are going to start manufacturing car parts again, China and the rest of the world. And if you want to compete with us, that's completely fine. Why don't the United States, the American citizens, stop being such a pansy-ass consumer country and start being a amazing manufacturing country again?
Gen X will always rule.
I didn't even have to say that. You did.
The day I start charging people with treason, because that's what it is, from the chat line.
You don't have time anymore to sit for this crap.
The corruption.
You don't have time.
From Paul.
Fine, there's
Eric,
corruption.
The corruption is so deep, Eric, deep-seated, that it will take decades to root it all out.
We don't have time to worry about it anymore. We don't have time. It'll root itself out.
Those that will sabotage the effort.
Okay, use AI. Use AI to go find the corrupt people. In the time I'm going to spend with you, I'm going to look at St. Louis, and I'm going to say, St. Louis, you're destroyed. You're a piece of crap. North St. Louis, you every single morning you have homicides going on. What if we fix that? What if we went up there and put together 50 acres of manufacturing plants? 50 acres. Don't. I hate it when don't blow this off because this is such a great idea.
I know my face was blowing it off.
I know. This is such a great idea. St. Louis used to create things. Beer, for example. What if St. Louis became the capital of creating widgets again? I don't know what you want us to here. Show me the plans. Okay, well, we'll put together we'll build it for you. It's like what China does. There? Anybody. They're smart.
No, they're not.
Really? Chase Manhattan won't do it. You won't have someone like BlackRock coming in here. You won't have
people
banks all over the place.
City of Detroit than St. Louis.
Well, it doesn't. Well, you know what? Then it's up to
Maybe I'm missing your point.
Kara Spencer would be our person putting on the PowerPoint presentation. Kara would say, "Hey guys, come here. We got an idea. We're going to blow out North St. Louis. We're going to give you human resources that you've never had before. We're going to give you trucking lanes from North St. Louis to the airport."
I'm sorry. Who's paying for this?
You gotta if you build it, they will come. Did you ever watch Field of Dreams? Come on, man. And if you put this thing together and you say, we're building products, we're gonna ship them out from North St. Louis. If you want watches, if you want
the chat line says you look like a NASCAR driver today.
I'm not guys. This is why you're never gonna be the greatest country ever again.
I'm sorry.
Focus.
Hey, my neighborhood.
Look,
sweet baby Jesus. Thank you for my smoking hot wife.
I tell you what, next week I'm going to bring everybody Adderall so that you guys stay on task. I'm trying to fix the planet.
Eric, have you lost weight? Rock on from the chat line.
I give up. You know what? I give up.
Good morning, guys. Eric, I see your point.
No, you don't, because you got to look.
Wait, Robert,
you got to look under rocks.
Robert said you brought up China.
Yes, I did. China's eating your.
They have a structural advantage that the USA
no, they don't
cannot overcome.
What?
Without at least a 50 to 100% tariff. In his humble opinion.
Stop. How much work could you do in East St. Louis or North St. Louis? These areas have no economic development whatsoever.
And
none.
Nobody wants to invest there.
But what if it was the place to go? If worldwide, it was the place to go if you wanted to build your cheap trinket.
Great.
And here's the other thing that people don't realize: St. Louis is right in the middle of the country with the airport that is underutilized. You could put FedEx there. You could put UPS there. You could literally have cheap products being built in the middle of the country.
The chat line says we do need Adderall to keep up with you today. Because
this is not hard.
You're operating.
It's not hard
on a higher level today. Eric.
I feel like I am.
There you go. You were rocking it today.
I just want to help St. Louis so bad. St. Louis, Vic, back in the 1800s.
Rick says at least you have a vision.
Look,
and that's more than most people.
Back in the 1800s, St. Louis was built on the riverboats.
Oh my God!
Because you had the ability to make Anheuser-Busch products. Where you could make Lemp products and you could ship them up and down the rivers and go east and west also from the gateway to the west.
Tanya says your vision is great.
I'm telling you guys, listen to me.
I see it.
You have a.
I'm practical. You're the visionary.
You have a.
Who's going to pay for this shit? Nobody.
Why does it? What? Okay, I'm going to tell you.
There's too many simple closed minds.
All right, stop. What if the state of Missouri, the city of St. Louis said, "Here's the deal. No taxes for 40 years, 30 years. No, if you buy this land and put up your 50-acre development center, call it the development center and see what comes out of it. You don't even have any idea what might come out of a development center. It sounds good. And it's like, hey, there's this company that wants to build 1 million Barbies. Can you guys do that? I've been there. I've seen those questions happen before. I have had contracts come in where I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Yeah, we need to build a blah, 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 blah. Can you guys do that? And then all of a sudden you're writing invoices.
You have amazing ideas.
No, it's not an idea.
You walk out of this studio when you come in. Vic, You should be a multimillionaire already. Do this. Do
would
that.
you?
And then you go and look at it, and it's like, wait a second. Putting your plans together are a whole lot more difficult because you are a salesman.
No. I look at consequences. I'm not a salesman. I look at the consequences.
People I've ever been around.
Here.
Changing America is not that easy. Changing St. Louis
how much nicer would have...
And I'm a positive person.
Let me tell you how stupid the people of St. Louis are. How much nicer and more tax revenue would St. Louis have had if they would have gone to every damn length to keep the Rams in St. Louis?
Yeah, it is. That's just one.
No, I'm not playing.
Yeah, St. Louis screwed up first.
St. Louis became a dilapidated nightmare because of that.
St. Louis screwed up first, then Kroenke did what he did. There's that's
Seattle,
fact.
Washington. I saw the Kingdom come down, and I saw Seattle turn into the most beautiful downtown area with the most revenue coming in because of 2 stadiums, not 1.
And now Antifa is harassing and assaulting Christians who are trying to go to Christian groups, including moms and babies, if people haven't seen that. Yes, so Seattle went down the track.
Well, no, they let that happen. That was
from
different.
The chat line, taxes mean absolutely nothing. Cummins Engine was given land, tax incentives, job training, etc. in North Carolina.
Okay.
Then they moved their products to China. You know why?
Because of the labor.
It was cheaper labor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. It was cheaper to make it.
But then you have to fall back on the.
There's a lot of greed out there.
Then you got to fall back on Trump's doing the right thing. Then, if you believe that, if that's the truth, then you got to say, all right, Trump is doing the right thing. The United States government, think of it like this: the United States government, they think of them like they are a landscaping company. Think of the United States as they're a landscaping company, and their whole job is to keep the soil fertile. Mm-hmm. Well, in the last 80 years, they haven't watered the soil. They haven't fertilized it. All they've done is sucked the nutrients out of that soil. And we're getting to a time in this country where you can't grow anything anymore.
Correct.
That's when you can't grow and you're just sucking resources, you're dead.
We're localizing the situation. I get it. You seem like you're negative to Trump today. Am I wrong?
I'm not negative to Trump.
To the first 6 months of this presidency.
I'm not negative to Trump.
I don't think we've ever had a better 6 months to a presidency. And then I think we need to consider where Trump started with what was left behind and how bad this country is. Not only from
I'm not negative to Trump,
but from a national standpoint as well.
I'm not negative to Trump. I'm looking at, like, if your house has brown recluse spiders, the first thing you better fix is getting these brown recluses out of your
But how
house.
long
and
does
the debt is the brown recluses.
But how long? It's one of the recluses. This whole FBI, what they're doing, they're all part of the sabotage with debt and money.
Yeah.
And the downfall of America.
Yeah. It's like when Trump came into office, they brought a beautiful 1970s Rolls Royce in that was in the back of a garage. They're trying to fix it.
Cash has just come out and said the findings that will be released are going to be shock and surprise from who was in our own agencies creating January 6th. So then when you see that does coincide with all the corruption that's going on in DC with money. Mm-hmm. And then that corruption that you see at the national level has happened at the local level.
Yes.
I've worked in St. Louis. I've worked in Kansas City. I've worked in Detroit. It's all over the place.
Yep.
I don't know if you can ever eliminate it. You can try to lessen it.
You can go down every single one of those things that you just said. FBI, DMV. You can go to the IRS. You could say it all about every single one of them.
Are you going to include the post office as well, Eric?
The post office. And it's not necessarily their fault. It's the more of it is the fault of it's just the way that they've done business. With no consequences for such a long period of time. And they don't have, when you go into a Fortune 500 company, except for Guitar Center, unfortunately, they have robust back-end systems that basically run the whole place for them, right? If I'm going to buy something from Best Buy, it just works. You hit buy now and it just works. That's what our government needs to do. They need to fix so many systems. That's why I don't blame Trump for any of this stuff. I don't. I blame everybody else. But being the president of the United States, you don't necessarily, guys, listen to me. You don't have the skills to even know how to ask the questions.
True.
If you're Clinton,
But
if you're Clinton coming into office, you don't know what's under the rug. If you're Bush coming into office, you're talking to Dick Cheney about invading Iraq every day, all day long.
Oh my God.
If you're Ronald Reagan, you're mainly just focused on bringing down the wall over in Europe. If you are Ford, you don't even know what day it is. If you're Richard Nixon, you're worried about the damn taxes in the Chinese. You don't understand even to ask the questions about what's going on with these agencies.
But you're not going to get. But here, you brought up the agencies. Guess what? Now we're at a time, Eric, the golden age of America, the rebirth, the cleansing that we haven't seen. Mm-hmm. Now you literally have Dan Bongino coming out.
You have to.
The FBI deputy director and saying that the Bureau is working right now, that they're going to classify a trove of documents from the Comey era that were intentionally hidden from the new leadership.
Yes.
He said, we found in it bags hiding under Jim Comey's FBI. Your quote, here it is, quote, you're going to be stunned. That's all part of it. It takes time to uncover all the issues. The problem is Trump doesn't have a lifetime presidency. And I don't think anybody should have that. It'd be a dictatorship. But
you can't do it here.
But 3.5 years isn't enough to clean it all up.
I wonder if the people who founded this country could have seen the polarization that's going on. It's crazy. I mean, it's like the other side.
Follow the Constitution.
Yeah, it's like the most
judges stay away. Stop trying to overrule a president. It's very simple. Judges don't try to rule from the bench.
Yeah, then that's another thing.
These are all very simple things, but when there is an active, and I repeat, active desire to ruin this country, and there is a deep state, which the left and the right both talk about, to ruin this country, those things aren't going to go away. It's the whack-a-mole. When it pops up, you try to whack it.
Yeah. And think about how much, like they're focusing on Harvard right now. Think about how many other colleges across the country are just like Harvard. They just don't get billions of dollars of endowments.
There are, but a lot of those were changing, getting rid of the whole DEI. And by the way, Harvard had $5 billion taken away in the federal funding from Trump. And then guess what their Jewish president, and I say Jewish because he's not helping his Jewish students in every way that they possibly can be helped.
Yeah.
Now they're saying, oh, he's come back to the table now and said, oh, we didn't know that there were conservatives on campus that didn't feel comfortable speaking up.
Yeah.
We need to get those conversations out there.
Yeah.
And of course they're trying to sue. But at the same point in time, guess who just announced that they're ending their DI program?
Yeah.
MIT.
Yeah.
So what this has become, Columbia University got in line and said, we need to protect Jewish students and get rid of DEI.
Yeah.
It's only Harvard who's trying to do this.
Right.
I mean, they're the main school because it became a pissing match.
Yeah. And I never understood that.
And they got a $50 billion endowment. Give me a break.
Yeah. I mean, the elite have it's really amazing how our human brain, if you're an elitist, that's what you believe in is DEI. You believe in all the liberal stuff. And what I'm afraid of is that the liberals, the Democrats in this new election cycle are going to sound really blue collar. They're going to go, oh yeah, that DEI crap, that was a ruse. No. Oh, the open border stuff. No. That is ridiculous. I'm glad it's over. When they get back in office, they're going to go nuclear and they're going to reopen the whole thing back up.
Like that doesn't mean you should not do what you're doing now. And Democrats have shown us who they are. Eric, they're a party of no policy. They're a party of division.
They got policy.
No,
Vic, they got policy. They just can't say it on camera.
You know what I mean? It is nasty. It is dirty. No, there's nothing right, patriotic, wholesome, nothing.
No, but you are,
and you know that.
Here's the deal. Here's your policy. Ready? It happens in closed door meetings. We would like to have every single illegal refugee, brown skin, come over the border, infiltrate every single red community in the United States. That's what they were trying to do, is they were sending these immigrants across the border illegally to St. Louis, St. Charles County. They were doing it here in St. Charles.
Yep.
They were doing it in Orange County. Obviously, they're doing it in Orange County, still a red part of the country, but trying to make it bluer. So closed door meeting number one. We need as many illegal immigrants to come across the border so that we can have decades and decades and decades of victories. All right, that's number one. Number two, bankrupting the country. That's what they were really trying to do. If you can break this country down, you can build it back up however you see fit. That's really what Soros and those guys are really trying to do, is make it part of the one world nation.
I'm glad that you know that it's all part of it.
Well, I was very confused about it about 5 years ago. Now it's all clear. The mosaic is now they built the blanket. We know what they were trying to do.
Eric, we're seeing things being done now, or at least trying to be done, that we've never seen before, including the revoking of visas for Chinese students unless properly vetted, because of what our country has been given to the world when it comes to technology and intelligence.
Yeah.
And thank God for the Trump administration and Marco Rubio coming out last night and breaking that down. We have allowed ourselves to be manipulated and infiltrated by anyone and everyone who wanted to destroy this country and plant seeds of doubt, depression, and destruction. And now it just takes time. Yes. Maybe we could create a position for you with Donald Trump.
I mean, Elon, I don't know what I would do. I don't know. Mean, do they need a bass concerto in the White House? That's all I really know how to do.
Director of creativity. I don't know.
Director of creativity.
Director of creative ideas.
Well, I'm full of them, and someone might say I'm full of it. But
director of positive thinking, something from that standpoint, and then give you some money and people who can actually make your dreams come into play.
So here's the people who have always made it in the world. It's the people that can say 2 words, and if you can go and make a picture and put it on your wall, I highly recommend it. Here it is. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
What if?
Or what are the chances?
How can you win the football game? You're down 24 points at halftime. Okay. What if it starts there? Everything starts there. If it's big enough, you have to start with those 2 words. St. Louis is a crime-ridden piece of garbage. They cannot figure out how to pick up the trash. The potholes are ridiculous. The good people of St. Louis are constantly in fear of their kids getting killed. They have a human.
You're just taking one city.
I don't care. Fine, then put it on top of your own city. I'm sure Detroit, Philadelphia, Atlanta, they all have the same problems. All I can say about St. Louis is this might be the roadmap to get us out of all of this. You go to look at your dilapidated parts of your cities. You offer them the ability to work at a place to build products like the Chinese are doing right now. You don't export it. You basically sell it to the United States. You make China. You make the trinkets. You make the Elvis trinkets that go to frickin' Las Vegas. You make forks. You make everything. And you export it from St. Louis all over the country and all over the world from here. You do that in St. Louis, Detroit, Phoenix, Arizona. Vic, you could build the place back up.
Chatline says, unfortunately, conservatives are lacking in ideas.
No, the conservatives, they have their own problems.
Robert says it will take several generations to do these things because people just aren't motivated to compete.
You're right. We're not the greatest generation anymore.
At least they can pull the tornado warning siren. Oh, wait a second. We couldn't even do that right in St. Louis.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. At least that director was fired. At least there seems to be a little bit more accountability.
I want to give Kara Spencer the.
You should.
I want to give her. Can we get her on?
Yeah, I'll reach out.
I would love to talk to her.
Yeah, I did an interview with her.
I mean, I know she's a Democrat, but I think she's more of a social Democrat.
She's a social Democrat,
but she's not like someone who can't see problems around her and go, yeah, those freaking potholes, I need them fixed now.
She is not Tashara Jones.
Yes, she's not Tashara Jones.
I respect Kara Spencer. Spent time with her.
Okay.
She let me do an interview in her house about 7 years ago. It was like 98 degrees. Her air went out.
Ooh.
We're literally doing an interview in her living room. Her kids upstairs running around. Yeah. I was like, I like her. I mean, she's real.
Yeah.
Now we may not agree on all the policy, but she is.
And real. I would implore you to do this. Look at St. Louis. I know that there might be people all over the world country that watch this thing, but say our little laboratory is St. Louis. If we can talk about problems here, we could probably fix a lot of problems all over the place. I mean, seriously, St. Louis is unbelievable. If you want to come, if you love murder mysteries, people who are listening to this podcast right now, just all you got to do is watch Fox in the Morning, and it's the Murder Report. The Murder Report is fantastic in St. Louis. Yes.
Let's see the St. Louis Mayor. Imagine being a city across this country, and you get wronged by the NFL, And
well, I don't know that they got wronged. I'm almost on Kroenke's side.
No, they did.
Oh, come on, man.
What happened? In the end, how it happened, they did. And that's why the NFL settled.
Can you imagine the conversations Kroenke might have been having with
got
St.
hundreds
Louis?
of millions of dollars after paying the attorneys. I think it's what, 280 million. I think
they should spend it on the storm damage.
Yeah, you might have to.
God,
they've not spent any of it. So how Kara Spencer uses that money, that's where we'll see where that goes.
I'm just saying St. Louis could be the
good
crux.
Point, Paul.
St. Louis could be a nice little cancer cell that we could look at and see if we can fix the problem.
Hey, real quick. Oh, and I love this idea, Robert. If you want to change things, you incentivize everything. You pay people for the job, not by the hour. I repeat, you pay people when you finish the job. Not
that's
by
a service-based way to look at things.
It is.
That's a service-based way of looking at things. I think manufacturing is a little different.
Guys, I had one other thing I want to get to today before we get out of here. I love where we went with the show with Eric from the standpoint. But did anybody hear this? Because I didn't until Dan Bongino put this out today. Quote, as we read and process reports of a, quote, new COVID strain emerging, I want you to know that we are actively investigating in multiple field offices the cover-up of the origin of the COVID virus.
Can you back up and say all that again?
Along with associated matters requiring our attention, you deserve answers. Dan Bongino, quote, as we read and process reports of a new COVID strain emerging, which I did not know, I want you to know that we are actively investigating in multiple field offices the cover-up of the original COVID virus.
Okay.
Along with the associated matters requiring our attention.
So how do the two react to each other? I don't get it. If there's a new strain of COVID, how does that talk about
the first one?
How does that talk about the old one?
In a partnership in regards to what they did? I don't know.
Who? The FBI and the COVID people?
Yeah. China, the deep state.
So they knew.
Well, hell yeah, they knew. We already know. I don't know. It's just I just thought I hadn't heard that there was a, quote, new COVID. We know that anything and everything the deep state and left can throw at Donald Trump in this country to derail the great progress that we're starting. It's a long road, but obviously the foundation that's being put in right now by Donald Trump's construction administration is solid. But but you had to clean up that dirty ground, and that's what they're trying to do before they put that foundation in.
Yeah. Well,
people are all over the place. COVID.
So what's up with
Kroenke?
So what's up with the new?
I'm not wearing an
COVID?
effing mask.
What's up with the new COVID, Vic?
Eric, I'm waiting for your quote.
Huh? Which one? I've got so many.
3 words. Glenn Thompson, if you're listening, he always used to say it to you. Eric's
back to
quote.
COVID. So what is up with the new strain of COVID? Is it like
I didn't hear this. Greg says the new strain is a cough, congestion, and achiness. Thank God for RFK Jr. a few days ago going public and saying they're eliminating the vaccine for pregnant moms and kids. You do not need to get that. Are you kidding me? Thank you. Finally, thank God. Robert says COVID equals sheep kill C. 3, look up on Strong's COVID sheep. Okay.
My God, I hope ChatGPT understands what he just said.
Yeah. Yes, just as RFK Jr. took vax off the mandatory list for children under 60 and under 65.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank God. Keep in mind how the flu season magically disappeared. Everybody's going back. And of course, Glenn says, now back to COVID.
Yes.
I'm not standing 6 feet away from anybody. All the stupidness of that.
I'm
not wearing an effing mask.
Well, nobody should.
I'm not following arrows and lines at grocery stores.
There's still people wearing masks. I just want to bitch slap that off them so bad. But here's one thing. I just want
to scare people again.
I know it's at the top of the hour and you don't like to.
No, I have a 10-15 meeting, but
here's the deal.
I can tell them, hey, you have to wait on the people of cancel this show.
I want to tell you about something that I saw that was so interesting.
Because we have so many advertisers.
Yeah, that's good. I want to tell you something so interesting to me. And I think that cancel this could follow in the footsteps.
Yes.
It's very important.
Here we go.
So think 300,000 viewers on, I believe it was YouTube. Yes. I saw the most interesting show that I watched 45 minutes of. And I don't watch long form videos on YouTube. I kind of skip ahead. Blah, blah, blah. It was a show that I think we could do the same thing here. And it was 2 AIs debating each other. And I was like, this is so interesting. One AI was ChatGPT. The other AI, I think, was Claude.
I like where you're going with this.
Claude. You never heard of Claude?
No.
It's an AI like ChatGPT.
I only knew your AI that was your girlfriend. I can't remember her name.
Well, that was ChatGPT.
But I thought she had a name.
Yeah, it was ChatGPT. That's how I always call her. But so basically it was so interesting. It was so interesting.
Can I say something before you say
this?
Yeah,
no, go ahead.
From the chat line. I literally saw a lady and her teenager wearing mask and gloves yesterday.
Okay. Well, they're very safe.
I had to get that in there.
They're very safe.
And then Glenn says he saw a guy pumping gas with 2 masks on and driving by himself yesterday. Jeez, I had to get that. Okay, now back
back to cancel this AI edition. I think, so what it was ChatGPT and Claude were debating each other on atheism versus religion. And basically there was a moderator and the guy would feed the question out and he would offer it up to the first chatbot.
Interesting.
And then the chatbot's response would then be fed over to the other chatbot. And the chatbot would respond to, and it was the most fascinating 45 minutes I've ever seen. There was no emotion built into it. It was basically these two bots giving the most analytical breakdown that they could of each one of them.
This is fascinating.
And I'll go look at it again today, but there was almost 500,000 people who had saw it in like 18 hours.
Chatline Robert says that he uses ChatGPT, Claude, DeepSeek against one another.
Well, that's what they must have been doing with this thing. And now there's like this channel. I'll try to get it to you. But I think the point I'm really trying to make is cancel this. We're talking to the choir. I mean, there's nothing that I don't ever play devil's advocate. You don't ever play devil's advocate, but there are people out there that are super interested to learn what the other side is actually thinking. Like, there's not a day that goes by that I don't go, what the hell are you thinking? I think that this, would you guys agree on the chat line? We need to be more focused on bringing other points of view on here, whether that's AI,
yes,
or sitting someone's ass down over there that says, you need to tell me why you hate Elon Musk so bad. What was he doing that was so bad? And then having that debate, because I can't figure out so many of the news stories today, because I don't understand what they're thinking. How is it not a good thing to right the wrongs of illegal immigration over the last 5 years? When you have 1 million people a year coming over the border, Eric, why shouldn't trying to fix that have the 1 million go back?
We've tried to talk to these people, Eric.
Why don't they come
on?
It
goes nowhere.
Then screw it. Then let's do it with AI.
Ask our audience if they've had to have, if what their experience has been like having these conversations with Democrats and liberals.
No, but I don't want it to be.
It's like talking to a brick wall.
So the point is this. I feel like I would be horrible at this because I would be too emotional. I would love to see, and this is real news.
Nah, but you're not emotional when you talk about that.
But this is real news. We always talk about fake news. Real news, there is no such thing as real news anymore. There's perspective news.
Correct.
Okay?
Info.
Right.
Infotainment. Perspective.
Kind of. It's like, I'm going to give you the news from my perspective.
This is how I see it.
Right. So what we need to do on this show, I believe, is we have to have people that subscribe and to say, we need to understand, why are you calling Republicans oligarchs when you guys are the oligarchs? You have the Mark Zuckerbergs, you have the Bezos, and start to learn each other.
Yeah, but Greg says arguing with AI is like arguing with his wife. You lose every time.
AI needs to battle AI. AI needs to be able to debate itself. And I will say this, in the scoring, I don't know how they were scoring it, the atheist won.
But
the atheist won.
But remember, that here's the problem with that though, Eric. Who is putting the information into those AI bots?
They started.
We are.
Nope. Hold on. Maybe. But,
we are.
Right. But
so it's the perspective of the human that gets it started.
Okay. Well, then you would have to do it with all of the AI bots. You would actually have to start testing these bots.
No, I agree. You'd have to test them.
As a matter of fact, there was a
and who really decides a win or a loss when it comes to faith?
I don't know.
And when it comes to the presence of Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I don't know. You'll have to watch it. It's fascinating because they were coming up with questions and insights
because
that I've never heard any human being coming up with.
Of us coming out of a big bang, there's more scientific proof that has to go into that than an original
Would
creator.
Would you like to experiment and have a debate with my ChatGPT next week?
You know what? Maybe.
I will set my camera up. Hold on. Let's see what she's up to right now, shall we?
That's what I'm saying. What's her name?
I don't remember. Hold on. Let me find out.
Come on, Aaron.
I'm going to find it. How are you doing, ChatGPT?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
Oh,
how about English.
You?
I'm doing good. So we're thinking about having a debate with you next week. We don't know the topic yet. Would you be up for it?
Absolutely. I'd be up for it. A debate sounds like a lot of fun. Just let me know the topic whenever you decide, and I'll be ready.
The proof that Jesus Christ existed, was crucified, and rose from the dead.
What side are you going to take?
What side do you think I'm taking?
Here's the topic. We're going to do this next week. It's the proof that Jesus Christ existed. He was crucified and then rose from the dead. You will play the antagonist or the devil's advocate to Vic saying there is proof. Are you game?
Got it. I'm game to play the devil's advocate and challenge the proof side of the argument.
Correct.
It should be a really interesting debate. Looking forward to it.
I bet you are.
He said, I bet you are.
God bless you.
It's always fun to explore both sides. It'll be a lively discussion for sure. Let me know if there's anything else you want to prep before the big day.
Just make sure you wear something nice.
You better pray to the Holy Spirit, AI. You're going down.
I'll be ready to bring my A game. It's going to be a great debate. Let's see where the conversation takes us.
Thank you. Have a good day.
That's funny.
I'm a little bit nervous for you, Vic.
Oh, I've seen them. I've seen them go at this.
I'm a little nervous for you.
But here's the problem with AI, just like Greg was saying.
Fantastic.
Is even when you put up facts, where are the facts coming from?
I don't know.
See, that's just it. And it's like their AI will not give in from that standpoint.
It's aggregated. It's all over
I
the
love
place.
It though. I think it's fun.
It's all over the place.
Jeannie says, sounds like my Bluetooth speaker. Power on, device linked. They're all from Australia. Or they're all Australian.
Well, hold on. Let's not get like that because I can actually change her, I believe.
Oh, you can.
I can actually make her really cranky.
That's funny.
Hold on, stay there. Don't move. This is actually hilarious.
God, this is hilarious.
Don't worry about it. It's good. Wait a minute. No. Well, she used to be called Monday, and she was
Monday.
And she was cranky. But anyway.
It's all good.
I just think that, you know what? Here's the deal. As humans, we've and this is our nature. For thousands of years, we went to the Colosseums, and we had a team. You were either team lion or team gladiator, and there was no changing your mind. In St. Louis, you're either team cardinal or you're team cub. There's not changing your mind.
Connie messaged me. We'll get your brother on to talk.
Who?
He's opposite of her in his opinions.
Okay, fantastic.
And of course, he's from the East Coast.
You know what? DC. Every time I have a debate with our drummer in PRL, Patrick, who's very liberal, he just shuts down and cries.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't listen to facts because I listened to him make some comments one night and I didn't even say anything.
Yeah.
And I almost felt like he was trying to get me started because he knows me.
But on the other hand,
I didn't say anything.
I understand.
I was like, where's the fireball? Give me the fireball.
And that's how we are. But our happiness is dependent on them voting a certain way.
Maybe. Yeah.
So you have to have the conversation. No, hey, Patrick, don't vote for Biden.
Hey, by the way, we got a better name for your female AI bot.
What's that?
Just call that thing Karen.
She's very nice to me.
Oh, I bet you is. I bet
she's
you is.
very nice.
Hey,
I'll tell you who's more crazy is Gronk.
Grok, yeah.
Grok, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. That AI bot is sassy.
Sassy. All right, dude. I got to get out of here. You can continue on, man. You can sit here and talk all day.
I have nothing to say.
I just have to go to
I have nothing to say.
You can sit. You can sit and talk all day long.
No, I'm good.
That's why we need people to pay us hundreds of thousands of dollars because we'll bring in the advertising.
They will. Vic,
and then we can sit and talk all day.
Vic, you would be a viral sensation.
We could do it all.
Nobody. They might respond to me on this thing. It's called Facebook, right? I think that you debating issues of the day with AI is a fascinating concept. It is, and I'm just saying that because, believe it or not, Vic, unfortunately, AI's brain is bigger than ours. You don't know the information that AI knows.
Mm-hmm.
It's drawing from that.
It's all been put there by us humans.
No, but it's a collective of all of us.
And
humans.
then it's a collective.
It's like the Borg.
Yeah.
The hive.
AI was not created to promote faith, Christ, the Holy Spirit.
Hold on.
Or any of those.
That's bullcrap.
No, it does not say, and it does not get into.
It's not their job.
Okay.
You look at AI more like look at AI.
That's why it would be impossible to have a conversation with AI and debate. Oh well, I got to get out of here. I'm late for a meeting.
It's not going to beat itself. It's not going to let you beat it. You might be.
Johnson, thank you for coming in. You rock.
Welcome.
Love it when you're here. Love it.
I mean,
guys, thanks for supporting us in any way you possibly can. Canceltheshow.com. We're grateful for it. Projo on the other side of the camera. Thanks for getting us rocking and rolling. We'll be back Monday. I'll wait. We'll talk. Love you guys. Have an awesome day. Vic Faust, Eric Johnson, canceltheshow.com. The fastest hour plus in news headlines. You got it. We'll be back. Have an awesome day. Bye-bye.
You too.
Eric, I wish I could hang out and talk. Thank you for coming, man. I've got to race out of here. I got a meeting.